distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Here we go. Now, Matt Pauley on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
All right, man, let's get going here.
Here we go. Let's go.
On a Thursday night, we welcome you in. It is time for a Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name's Matt Pauley. Have you until 8 o'clock tonight. By the way, when we get done at 8 o'clock, we are going to head to Chicago for the Democratic National Convention as Kamala Harris is going to speak this evening. But we'll do nothing but sports between now and 8 o'clock. As always, if you want to join us, you can do so by calling, texting, or tweeting. If you call or text 314-436-7900, that's 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. You tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air. And let's not forget the voice message option that is now available for you as well. If you are listening to us on the Odyssey app, you see the little microphone, you press the microphone button, and you leave a message for us, and that comes to us, and we can play those back on the air. So if you've got any thoughts on the voice message, we welcome those as well. And if you're looking at your Odyssey app, I've had a few people say this, if you're looking at the Odyssey app and you don't see the microphone, you probably haven't updated your apps lately. So just go to your app store, whatever you use, Google Play Store for those of you non-iPhone people, and update your Odyssey app, and then you'll find the microphone and you'll be able to leave voice messages for us. So always feel free to do that throughout the course of this program. We've got a lot coming up on this show today. 3 guests, 2 of which will be this hour. We'll talk Blues hockey with Luke Korak in about 10 minutes. Interesting week for the Blues with them acquiring a couple players with the offer sheets. And they, the thought was maybe they overpaid, but they had the money to do it. So go ahead, because you make your team better. And at the end of the day, you want to make your team better. So we'll get Luke Korak's thoughts on that coming up. And then Heath Pierce, he's part of the team of at Apple TV and MLS Season Pass. He's going to be on the call this weekend for City SC as they jump back into MLS play. We'll talk with Heath coming up at about 6:35. Next hour, our good friend from Channel 4, Tamar Scher, is going to join us. We'll talk Cardinals with Tamar, but also Channel 4 had some big news that they announced earlier today. There is a new sports and entertainment television channel that's coming into the market, and the folks at Channel 4 are behind it. So we'll get all the details on that coming up at about 7:20 or so when Tamar joins us on the show. Thought it was a really good win today for the Cardinals. Thought it was a really good win today for the Cardinals. And by the way, I always say this on days of weekday day games when we do the short and extra inning show, I always want to give you the opportunity to call, text, and tweet about the Cardinals. At about 7:35, so in about an hour and a half, we're going to open up the phone lines for you just to talk about today's game. So we'll kind of do the post-game call-in portion at 7:35 tonight. But this game today, it was a must win, right? Like I say that, and I hate saying must win because look, if they would have lost today's game, did they still have a path to the playoffs? Yes. So from that definition, no, it's not a must win game. But if we're really looking at this team and where they're at right now and what they still want to accomplish, and it might be bleak right now in terms of them doing enough to get into the playoffs, but that door's not closed. It's not an impossible thing for this team to play well enough to find themselves into the postseason. But they had the fantastic win last night where they come back twice, and then Nolan Arenado hits a walk-off grand slam. You want to follow that up with a victory, because if you do that and then you come back 12 hours later and you lose a game and you end up losing 2 out of 3 from Milwaukee, in the moment, that game that you won, the second game on the Arenado walk-off, in the moment it feels good, but when you take a step back, what did it really mean? Well, it meant you didn't get swept in a series that you still lost. That's the extent of it. Instead, they win today. They find a way to win today. It wasn't a great offensive performance. They got 9 hits, 3 runs on 9 hits, but they score all 3 of their runs in the 7th inning. They never did anything against Milwaukee starter Freddie Peralta, who I like a lot. I think Peralta's a good pitcher. He hasn't had a great season this year. He came in with an ERA just above 4. He walks out after 5 shutout innings with an ERA at 3.86. But Peralta's good. He's been good in this league for a long time, for sure. You couldn't do much against him. When you did have some opportunities against him, you didn't come up with that proverbial big hit. You get some help there in the 7th inning. You get help with a bases loaded walk. kind of a fluky fielder's choice play. And then Nolan Arenado, he's able to drive in a run. And we talked about this last night on the Extra Innings Show. What we're seeing right now from Nolan Arenado is he driving the ball right now? Is he hitting a lot of extra base hits? No, and he hasn't all season long. That was one of the things that we certainly discussed on the show yesterday. But it is getting a little bit better, not a lot better, but it's getting a little bit better when you look at what he's done. So he's got a 20-game on-base streak, right? Or excuse me, 21-game on-base streak here at the moment. And the numbers during that 21-game streak, hitting 321, 5 doubles, 3 home runs, and 862 OPS during the period. In the month of August, it's even a little bit better. The OPS is up to 874 in the month of August, where most of those extra base hits have come. It's still not enough extra base hits. There's just still too many singles in there, but he's getting a few more of them. He's driving in runs, which is something that's important as well. And if this team is going to go on that proverbial run, you wanted to get something out of Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. At this point, it almost feels like you're just not going to get much out of Paul Goldschmidt. They may run Alec Burleson out there at first base a few more times here moving forward the way they did today, but it's a good sign for this team that Nolan Arenado is having productive at-bats and helping the team score runs. We'll talk a lot more Cardinals baseball on this show, but up next, we're going to talk Blues hockey. Our friend Luke Korak is going to join us. That's coming up in just a moment. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to Saxony Ridge in Wentzville, a sprawling new home community located off Point Prairie Road, west of Highway Z. Saxony Ridge offers custom new construction homes on 3+ acre home sites in the Francis Howell School District. This private and tranquil community offers spacious home sites surrounded by an abundance of beautiful woodlands and open space. Saxony Ridge homeowners will enjoy the close proximity to New Melly, featuring local restaurants, grocers, and numerous recreational opportunities. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
This is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy property as is. Do you have a property that is vacant? Maybe it's been sitting empty for years. Maybe it's been sitting empty for a month. Well, we're interested in buying vacant properties. If you have a property sitting vacant, you're at risk of damage. You're paying insurance. You're paying taxes while it is not being utilized. We are interested in making you an as-is cash offer, and we can close on your timeline. Please reach out, KLAMEN Group.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app, and never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles.
Highly logical.
Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
This is the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Back at it here on a Thursday. Cardinals played this afternoon. They got a win against the Brewers, so we have a full 2-hour show today. It's been a very interesting week for the St. Louis Blues. We learned earlier in the week that they officially signed defenseman Philip Broberg and forward Dylan Holloway away from the Edmonton Oilers after they had given them offer sheets, and the Oilers declined to match. To talk about that and much, much more, very happy to welcome on to the program. You've heard him many times. He's fantastic. He covers the Blues and the NHL for NHL.com. Also at the Hockey News, takes care of the St. Louis Blues site. He is Lou Korak. Follow him on Twitter at LKorak10. Lou, thanks for taking some time. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. What's going on?
Not too much. Glad to be able to talk a little Blues hockey. They're going to be on the ice before we know it. They make this move this past week, or it becomes official this past week when the offer sheets are not matched. How much better, if they are better, because these are a couple of young guys who are still moving forward in their careers, but how much better can the Blues be with Broberg and Holloway in place?
Well, if their trajectory continues to go on the upside, which it's been growing in that direction, they will be better. But in saying that, I don't think you want to put too much of a burden on them right off the hop. I mean, give them some time to grow and learn and continue to go in the right path. You got to remember, this is Broberg's 23. Holloway's he's going to be 23 next month. So these guys don't even have 100 games of, they do if you want to combine the playoffs. But as far as the regular season is concerned, neither one of these guys have even played 100 games in the NHL. So let them continue to grow. They're going to get more responsibility, which is good. And they're going to be put to the test. I think what helped more than anything is these guys were prominent players for the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. Then they took Florida to 7 games, and these guys were relied upon heavily in a lineup that's got a lot of star-studded power in it. So if they can compete at that level, that just tells you that they're going to be able to continue to grow and mature, and that's what the Blues are banking on.
Broberg was the 8th overall pick in 2019. Holloway was the 14th overall pick in 2020. How much of this is just the Blues trying to add as much potential high-level talent into the organization?
Well, that, and I mean, they haven't made it a secret that they want to add. They want to get younger. They want to add players that are in their early to mid-20s that are just scratching the surface and have got that potential, and players that, quite frankly, that they can have team control over. And those are some big elements that they want to have that kind of a group in place. This makes 12 first-round picks on the roster now that are age 25 or younger. It's a pretty good nucleus that you're building here. And this doesn't, when I say roster, I'm talking about guys that are already here and some of the draft picks that they have as well. So they're building a pretty good nucleus of young players, but you have to have your veterans. And Doug Armstrong made, no bones about it. That, the big dogs have to be the big dogs here, especially in the present time. You can't bring all these high-end young players in and expect them to carry the load here. You've got the horses that are going to have to do that, but it's good to infuse some of this energy into the group to see how they complement those guys.
The Blues have struggled with defensemen on the blue line, and you bring in Broberg. I mean, where does he slot in? Has this team really improved themselves from a defensive standpoint?
I think, I don't think you can put too much on his cart right off the bat, but I think the long-term view is that he's going to be a top 4 defenseman on this team for a long time. And something that I envision and wouldn't surprise me one bit, maybe not right off the hop, but potential pairing of Broberg and Colton Parayko. Now, that should remind you quite a bit of someone that Parayko played with same kind of physical stature, and Jay Bouwmeester. I think those guys did pretty good back in 2019 in shutting opponents down and winning a Stanley Cup. Now, I'm not by any means comparing Broberg to a Jay Bouwmeester who had a tremendous career, but you're talking about somebody that's 6'4", about 210, 215-ish, somewhere in that range. Those are a couple of big guys that you can start to kind of mesh together and in the long-term view, see as a good fit for number 55.
Do you make anything of I don't even know if it's a controversy, but the conversation about Armstrong and the offer sheets and kind of the etiquette of the NHL and whether he would do that with other people? And is there anything with all of that?
No, I'll tell you what, I think this just kind of sets a precedence, and I think it should. I've always believed that offer sheets, they've always been there. It's just teams have never really taken advantage of it. And the funny thing is, we in the media have always had this perception, and everybody outside looking in have always had this perception that, there's this gentlemanly agreement between general managers that, hey, you don't touch my RFAs, I won't touch yours. And if you do, then I'm going to, there's going to be retaliation. I'm going to offer sheet one of your guys. Some of that stuff used to happen back in the day, but you know what? I just think that it's a tool that should be readily at hand for these guys to take advantage of. Doug Armstrong even mentioned that when we talked to him before the draft, and just some general openness about offer sheets, and that GMs are becoming more receptive to the idea of possibly utilizing that. Now, I'm not saying that, he knew back then that this was going to happen, because quite frankly, he had to go out and get the second round pick that they traded to Pittsburgh in order to accomplish this, or otherwise we're not even talking about this right now, because the only way you can do that for compensation is if you have your own draft picks. You can't use another team's draft choices for compensation as far as offer sheets is concerned. So this thing pretty much came out of nowhere, and you know what? They were able to execute it, and I think other teams are going to see this, and maybe you're not going to see a rash of this moving forward, but I think GMs around the league are going to go, hey, if there's a young player that we like, maybe we should go down this avenue as well.
From a player's standpoint and from a union standpoint, you would think that they would want teams doing this more often, because it's the opportunity for their guys to go make a little bit more money.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes, and listen, when you look at the two guys that the Blues acquired, did they have to overpay these guys? Yes. And moving forward, when future offer sheets are tendered, are you going to have to overpay some guys in order to get them? Well, yeah. I mean, because you're not going to offer somebody something that the current team that holds these guys are comfortable paying, because you're pretty much just wasting your time then. So I think we all understand that some of the numbers that, just use Broberg, for example, some of the numbers that were floated around out there were in the $1 to $1.5 million range. And here the Blues are, they're paying them a pretty good penny at 4.58 AAV per year. So, but they're doing this. Yes, it's a risk, but they're doing it as what they see as the potential of the player for the future, and somebody that's 23 years old and somebody that they're going to keep for a long time.
And Lou, I would think for Blues fans, it's a refreshing conversation, because we have spent the better part of the last 3 years talking about this team being capped out, and they don't have any money to do this and don't have money to do that. And they're trying to trade off pieces just to create a little bit of space. And now this isn't the first deal this offseason where we've talked about them maybe overpaying a little bit. And that's a very different feeling than what it's been over the last few years.
And they still do have a little bit of cap space available. And even if Edmonton say they matched one of them and not the other, or happen to match both of these guys, well, you know what? Now you've got that cap space again. Not to say that they were going to use it presently, but you know what? If this team would have gone into the season, raised some eyebrows, and got and threw their name in the hat as somebody that was going to make a fight to make the playoffs, well, you know what? That just tells Doug Armstrong then that, hey, we're getting towards a trade deadline. Instead of shedding salary, yeah, now we've got some money where maybe we can add some help to get you guys over the hump. So, yeah, you're right. It is a bit refreshing. It's something that we haven't seen very much of, because, quite frankly, over the last, dozen years, this is a team that's been at or near the cap, and they just really haven't had much of that flexibility because they've been playing so well. And, when you're playing well, you have to pay players, in order to, put together a competitive roster. So this was a little bit of a change. And, they're not capped out right now, after what they offered these guys. So they're still going to have a little bit of flexibility to do some things. But I think you see a roster now that this is the group that they're going to go into the regular season with. Let's see what they can do. And if they show management that they're ready to fight for a playoff spot this year, perhaps we could see some more change forthcoming whenever the NHL trade deadline comes around.
Luke Korak with NHL.com and the Hockey News continuing to join us on the program. We're about a month out from the first exhibition game. They'll be on the ice. What's the thing or two that you're most interested in before they drop the puck for real as we get into October?
Well, I just want to see the competition. I mean, you're going to have a lot of young guys, first and foremost, that are going to come in here, and they're going to be battling for spots. I mean, we're talking about young guys with, Broberg and Holloway. You're not bringing them here, to say that they're going to have to battle to keep a job. They're more than likely they're going to be here. So they're going to take somebody's spot that felt like they already had a roster spot locked up. So who's going to be battling for some of those jobs? How about, Zach Bolduc? That's a guy that, had a great finish to his season last year. Where does he fit into this puzzle right now? I mean, we were talking about him potentially fighting for a top 6 spot. Now, I think he's fighting for a roster spot to stay in this group. Nathan Walker was one of those fringe guys. Where does he fit in now? Some of those guys that are down towards the bottom of the roster where or the forward group where you're thinking they probably had spots. Matthew Joseph is coming in here. Radek Fox is coming in here. A couple of new acquisitions that are going to probably push somebody out of a job or at least force somebody, to compete for a job. Where does this put Scott Perunovich now? What's the status of Torrey Krug? There's a lot of questions that remained unanswered here, and it's going to be a battle. I mean, it's going to be competitive, and I think guys understand now that their roster spots aren't locked up here, and they're going to have to fight in order to stay with the main club.
I'm sure we'll chat with you again before the regular season gets started. We'll jump into a bunch of those other questions that you mentioned, but certainly the team is a lot more compelling and interesting, I think, right now than even a year ago. He is Luke Korak, again, NHL.com, the Hockey News on Twitter, at LKorak10. Lou, always appreciate you taking some time with us.
All right, Matt, take care.
Very good. That's Lou Korak joining us here on the program. We will take a break, and when we return, we'll be joined by Heath Pierce. He's going to be on the call for Apple TV and MLS Season Pass this upcoming weekend as City gets back at it. What did he see from the team during their Leagues Cup run, and how is that going to play out during the rest of the MLS regular season schedule? We'll talk with Heath coming up in just a moment. This is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side fighting for every last dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you don't need the biggest law firm. You need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis, is the insurance company playing games, trying to deny the medical treatment you need, refusing to pay your lost wages. Let Onder Law fight for the benefits you deserve. Injured on the job? Call Onder Law for free. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey. Join me and my co-host Kevin Short of Clayton Capital Partners for the Business of Family Business, Saturdays at 2.
Join us. We interview many St. Louis business owners and families and learn a lot and have a good time.
So many interesting stories of passing a business along to the next generation or not, and some great tips as well. It's the Business of Family Business here on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX, Saturdays at 2.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA, and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
St. Louis City SC and Schnucks are teaming up on a week-long food drive benefiting Operation Food Search. Now through August 25th, visit your local Schnucks to donate non-perishable food items and help City SC and Schnucks fight hunger in our city.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Hi, everyone. This is Ben, board-certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care, here to talk with you about removing dead, dangerous, and unwanted trees from your property. Timberline has recently invested in cutting-edge equipment to remove your trees in the safest, most efficient way possible. In fact, our robotic tree removal can remove trees in about half the time as conventional means, with less manpower and thereby saving you a ton of money. This is just one of the ways that we continue to innovate. Timberline has a cost calculator on our new website, stltreecare.com, which can provide you a guaranteed tree removal quote instantly from the comfort of your own home. Don't hassle with trying to get your brother-in-law's cousin or whoever to come cut your tree down. He's never coming. And that guy that won't call you back, he's never coming either. Save yourself a bunch of time and money and call Timberline Professional Tree Care today at 636-479-7475 or use the cost calculator on our brand new website at stltreecare.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-515-6608. 800-515-6608. 800-515-6608.
This is the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
On America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Rolling on here on a Thursday night, City SC, they are getting back into MLS regular season play this upcoming weekend. They've been playing Leagues Cup matches for the better part of the last month or so. Certainly performed pretty well during Leagues Cup, and now they get back at it. They're going to be on the road as they take on Portland this upcoming weekend. And we are very happy right now to welcome on someone who's going to be on the call this weekend. He is Heath Pierce. You follow him on Twitter at Heath Pierce. He joins us right now. Heath, appreciate you taking some time with us today. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me.
How much better did you think City looked during their Leagues Cup run compared to what they've done in the vast majority of the regular season this year?
Well, I think they looked consistent and confident in a different way. You know, even when you talk about the round that they go out and against Club America, just going up the 2 goals, just there's a confidence to the team right now and a belief. And, you know, I think you always have that. You have Coach Hackworth, who I think is a good addition at the time, just in terms of his experience and having managed a number of different players and teams and leagues. And then you look at just the quality of the player and some of the players that they're bringing in from Germany. Just feels like there's a belief and confidence in the squad. And I don't think it should be measured by the fact of where they went out in the tournament.
You mentioned the players that they're bringing in. City was pretty much the most active team in terms of players during the transfer window, acquiring 6 new players, 5 on the transfer market, and they also bring in 1 via trade. How much better did they make themselves with the moves they made?
Well, I think not just that, but when you talk about bringing in, fullbacks that help to strengthen the style of play that the team wants to play under Pfannenstiel, you have now attacking fullbacks with a two-way range. You're talking about bringing in a left midfielder that was double digits in goals and assists with, I believe it was St. Pauley, that's coming in as a big name player, but also as a midfielder. And in this league, when you can start to have that kind of contribution coming from the midfield, I think that's where you can really turn the corner. When you compare that again to the attacking trio of the Portland Timbers, who have 3 players with 10 or more goals, I think that's the kind of thing that you're looking for from an efficiency. And then when you're a data-driven team like St. Louis are, you look at where those goals going to come from. And when you start to add pieces, I think it takes the pressure off how you're going to go about getting results, and maybe starts to allow you to have a little bit more of a foundation to build on for the future.
Yeah, in many ways, before the Leagues Cup, I mean, this was a team that had such a hard time scoring goals, and it felt like the options weren't there. Would you agree? I think this is what you were just saying, but it feels like there's now more options for this team to find a way to score goals.
Well, I think any team that comes into the league in the way that St. Louis City have, one started off with a chip on their shoulder and proved a lot of people, I think, very wrong in the early days. But then when you talk about, okay, these players whose names weren't in the team meetings and being analyzed in video are now being analyzed, now requires you to have a different dynamic in which that you play or break other teams down, right? Teams may have pressed you high or sitting back, and they're just varying the ways in which they're trying to neutralize you. Now you start to add some pieces and some threats. And I think that's where you start to see a number of teams in the league that are spending at the right level in the right spots on the field where, okay, that's fine. You want to double up on the left-hand side. Well, we've now got threats on the right-hand side. Or if you're going to isolate our striker one-on-one in front of goal, he's going to win that battle more often than not. And the more of those types of pieces that you can have beyond just some of the other metrics that I think are highly valued in terms of distance covered, your transitional kind of gegenpress type of soccer, the more of those pieces of that quality in the final touch, the final ball, the final finish, I think is going to make this team more of a threat moving forward.
The system hasn't changed, as we're talking with Heath Pierce, who'll be on the call this upcoming weekend. The system hasn't changed going from Bradley Carnell to Coach Hackworth. Lutz Pfannenstiel has a system that he wants the team to run, but it does seem like there have been some small changes, some things that have happened. What have you noticed? Because you were just very complimentary of Hackworth a few moments ago. What about the job that he's doing do you think is helping this team from a positive standpoint?
Well, I think when you're in a system like the way that they've played the last 2 seasons, I think one requires a buy-in, right? And that is a rewards-based system because it requires a collective press. You're having to cover a lot of ground. It's a lot of running. You're playing a little bit more of a direct style at times when you are in the build-up play. And when the way the game is played within that system, there's a reward that has to come with that, right? Results, scoring goals, rewarding your team so that, you get everybody to continue to buy in over time. That can take its toll at any club anywhere. But I think when you add a Hackworth back to that equation, he has an ability to simplify a messaging, to get player buy-in. He's a great people manager. If you just see, even if you follow him on social media, and I've known, he was, when I was 16 years old, one of and had broken my leg, one of the few coaches that was recruiting me when he was in Southern Florida. And I worked with him in the national team when he was an assistant coach in the national team for a bit. Just has an ability to connect with players on a human level, understand them, but also deliver a high level messaging. And I think when you can have somebody that can reinvigorate a squad, because I do think what Bradley Carnell was doing and where this project was at was, although the results weren't there, you're seeing a Hackworth not change the system, but continue to build on the foundation of where the club is going. And again, having the experience that he has at the number of levels, whether it's an assistant, as a head coach, at the national team level, at the club level, at different levels of the professional level, just brings a different range of perspectives and experience that I think can help to connect on a number of levels.
Heath Pierce, who earned 35 caps as the defender for the U.S. men's national team from 2005 to 2012, continuing to join us. Do you have a Hackworth story from whether it was when you were injured and something he said to you, or when you were working with the national team? Is there something about him that is a story you enjoy telling?
Well, I remember, being in South Africa for a Confederations Cup, in 2009 when we ended up losing in the final to Brazil, and I wasn't getting the time that I would have liked in a tournament like that. Just spending time with him on the road as somebody that I knew as a confidant, just helping me to work through the challenges of going through a long tournament, of knowing him on a personal level. There's that side of thing, and I'm pretty sure. I'd get in trouble for this, for saying this probably. And so I'm saying this jokingly, but when I had a broken leg, and at the time of which he was recruiting me to come to Southern Florida, I'm pretty sure he was breaking some NCAA rules with how often he was contacting me. But I will say, I was at IMG at the time, and it was the only official visit that I took, just spending time with him, seeing his vision. It was probably the first time in my career going into the college level that I felt bad not going to a place that my gut told me. I wanted to be back on the West Coast, closer to my family. I ended up going to the University of Portland and playing for Clive Charles, who was obviously a Timbers legend, and helped me propel my career. But that was the first decision that I had, and that I remember thinking, like, man, this is a really hard one, because this guy, he's put so much time, so much effort into just spending time with me, getting to know my family, checking in on my rehabilitation, just doing all the things on a human level and on a coaching level that you really hope for in a coach. But in my experience over my full professional career, you don't have that type of connection very often. And I had that with him, and he showed that sort of next level of care. And I can see that being something that continues to pay off in the development of young players in St. Louis, as well as with the first team.
City has not closed the door on them still trying to make the playoffs this year. Realistically, if they win 7 of 9, maybe they're in the conversation, depending on what else happens. Do you see that as any type of possibility?
I certainly think it is. When I look at sort of the strength of schedule and how difficult that's going to be, they've got to play Portland away. They've got Galaxy at home, but then they've got New England. Obviously not a 6-pointer in the way that you would want, but they've still got San Jose. They've got Sporting Kansas City. Games that I think that they can match up well on. It's going to come down to it in the end, and it's just about a rhythm. When you look at the teams, historically in MLS, you're starting to see teams really find form throughout a full season, but there are a number of teams that sort of knocking on the door at the right time. And if you can catch that fire and that rhythm, there's a number of teams, if you look at the last couple of years, maybe not last season, but previous years before that kind of stumble into the playoffs, right? They just find that rhythm last 10 weeks of the season. They win 6 of them, they win 7 of them, and they get into the playoffs. Whether they go far or not is anyone's guess. But I think it's a big reach for them, but it kind of comes down to how do you now go to Portland, a very difficult place to play, and get a result and start with that, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you're thinking about playoffs and you've got this many games left and you kind of take your eye off of the short-term goals or tasks, I think that's where you run into trouble. But I think the math is what it is, and they can only control this one game at a time. They certainly have enough talent. I think they brought in some good pieces. Whether it all comes together or not, I think is going to be a huge challenge, but it will make it interesting for the remainder of the season.
Big weekend for MLS Season Pass. The match is free for all to watch on the Apple TV app, online at tv.apple.com. You guys do such a fantastic job. If folks want to test out the product, this is a great week to do it because you can do it for free.
Absolutely. It'll be a fun one. Obviously, I've had the chance to now call a game in St. Louis, and that was one of probably bucket list experiences for me to take in a game there. But now to have them come to an environment like the Portland Timbers Stadium. I think it'll be a fantastic match, both with coming off of this Leagues Cup where they played each other, where I think St. Louis was a very good team in that one, to now go away. With that recent memory, I think should make for a really, really electric match.
He is Heath Pierce. He'll be on the call this weekend. MLS Season Pass, again, a free weekend, so you can watch for free. Get the Apple TV app. Go online, tv.apple.com. I've got the Apple TV app on my Roku. It's fantastic. Heath, thank you so much for the time. Have a great call, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again down the line.
Thanks for having me. Have a great one.
Very good. There's Heath Pierce joining us on the program. One more break, and we'll wrap up hour number 1 of the program. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Philo's got a world of entertainment for you to explore with just one subscription. Sign up today and start watching all the networks you love, like A&E, MTV, Discovery, Lifetime, Hallmark Channel, and so much more. Featuring current seasons of all the best drama, true crime, reality, and family-friendly shows you can't afford to miss. And with up to 3 streams at once, you'll never have to fight about what to watch. Get started today and unlock our library of over 75,000 movies and shows, and save all your favorites with the unlimited DVR so you can rewatch them anytime, anywhere for up to a year. Philo now includes access to AMC Plus. You can discover your next obsession from its collection of hit originals like Mad Men, The Walking Dead, Killing Eve, Orphan Black, and tons of blockbuster movies. There are no contracts, no commitments, and no hassles. For just $28 a month, Philo's a better way to watch TV. So what are you waiting for? Visit philo.tv and sign up today to start your 7-day free trial. That's philo.tv.
Saturdays are made for soccer and City SC on Y98. Whether you're running around town watching your kids from the sidelines or making the time to give blood and save lives by making your appointment at Impact Life, your community blood center. Make your appointment today at bloodcenter.org/soccer. And remember, you can always catch the City SC game anywhere on the Odyssey app and on Y98, your home for St. Louis City Soccer.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
This has been a ridiculously hot summer, and if you've found yourself sweating inside your home, it's probably time to upgrade your windows and doors. Hi, I'm Amy Mark Scores. My friends at Renewal by Andersen have been helping make homes more comfortable and beautiful for 29 years. Their Acclaim windows are all proudly made right here in the USA. And I've got to say, these windows aren't just gorgeous, they're durable, they're all custom built, and they require virtually no maintenance at all. Renewal by Andersen's huge 1-month only sale is going on right now. Call by August 31st and you'll save $329 on every window and $729 on every patio door, with 0% interest for 36 months. Don't miss one of Renewal by Andersen's biggest sales of the year. Call 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200, 314-720-9200.
How could they make things even better at Genesis of St. Charles? How about 0% financing through the end of August? That's right, 0% financing on fantastic, unbelievable Genesis vehicles, sedans, SUVs, several fully electric models as well. All you need to do is head to Genesis of St. Charles, walk into their beautiful state-of-the-art facility, and get behind the wheel of a Genesis and drive off today. A quarter-mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall Drive off 70 or online at genesisofstcharles.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com. Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Welcome back in. We roll on. It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX, starting to wrap up hour number 1 of the program. Hour number 2 will feature a conversation with our good friend Tamar Scher from Channel 4, KMOV. We'll talk Cardinals baseball with her, but we'll also talk about the big news that the folks at Channel 4 unveiled. They have a new television channel that is starting Matrix Midwest. They're referring to it as a sports and entertainment channel, but there's going to be a lot of sports on it. So they've already announced a few things, and we'll talk with Tamar about that moving forward. And in this changing landscape of sports rights and everything going on with regional sports networks, I would just, this is me saying this isn't anybody else saying it, I would say keep an eye on what's going on over there. So that could be a big part of your sports viewing experience in the relatively near future, depending on things that continue to happen again in a very changing media landscape when it comes to how we watch sports, for sure. So tomorrow will join us coming up next hour. We'll also spend some time next hour hearing from you when it comes to the Cardinals. I mentioned this earlier. If you are listening on the Odyssey app, you can now, and we've been doing this on other shows on KMOX, so this probably isn't the first time you've heard about this, but if you do listen on the Odyssey app, there's a little microphone button, and you can press and you can leave a voice message for us, and then we can play those back. So if you have any thoughts on the Cardinals, if you got any questions about the Cardinals, you can start getting those in right now for those of you who listen on the Odyssey app, and we'll play some of those back coming up next hour. Now, if you're not listening on the Odyssey app, there's nothing stopping you from taking your phone out of your pocket and going to the Odyssey app and leaving a voice message, even if you listen to us on terrestrial radio. So that is another. We try to have as many ways as possible for you to get in contact with us, whether it's phone calls, whether it's text messages, whether it's tweets, now the voice messages, all those ways for we're trying to meet you wherever you happen to be. And this is a new feature that we have with the voice messaging on the Odyssey app. So make sure to check that out for sure. I think the number one thing I want to know from Cardinals fans, because it's 2 games, right? It's 2 games. 2 games doesn't make a season. 2 games doesn't really change anything in the grand scheme of things. But the Cardinals were in such a tough spot going into these 2 games. And then it's like you're drowning and you're just coming up for a little bit of air, and you get that little bit of air and it's filled with hope. How much hope do you have for this team that they can do what they've kind of continue some version of doing what they've been doing over the last couple of days and go on a run and really legitimately get back into the playoff race? That's my question for you. Feel free to leave a message on the Odyssey app. Hour number 2 of the program after the 7 o'clock news right here on KMOX.
Attention car lovers, Scrubbles is thrilled to announce the grand opening of our brand new Highway K location at 3435 Highway K in O'Fallon, Missouri. Get ready for 4 days of pure excitement and free washes from August 22nd through the 25th. Scrubbles is offering exclusive on-site deals on memberships you won't find anywhere else. Plus, Scrubbles is giving away special promotional items to anyone who purchases a membership while supplies last. Scrubbles Car Wash on Highway K. We make your car sparkle.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are 2 things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to Saxony Ridge in Wentzville, a sprawling new home community located off Point Prairie Road, west of Highway Z. Saxony Ridge offers custom new construction homes on 3+ acre home sites in the Francis Howell School District. This private and tranquil community offers spacious home sites surrounded by an abundance of beautiful woodlands and open space. Saxony Ridge homeowners will enjoy the close proximity to New Melly, featuring local restaurants, grocers, and numerous recreational opportunities. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
Says here that Gray Bar is a distributor.
Yeah, we support electrical and datacom projects all over the country.
So you can get me the products I need, where and when I need them?
Yeah, thanks to our national logistics network.
Any industry?
Yeah, construction, industrial plants, schools, hospitals.
So you could say Gray Bar is much more than a distributor.
Yeah, you could say that. When you need a hand powering, connecting, or maintaining your operations, join the thousands of professionals who rely on Gray Bar to help keep them up and running. Yeah, Gray Bar does that.
Hi, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about the 213 Flashpoint Complex, which is available at one of my favorite places, Supplement Superstores. Now, this is a metabolism drink. You have one in the morning, one in the evening. It helps you optimize fat loss around the clock. Yeah, even while you're sleeping. So it'll fight and eliminate cravings. It gives you all-day focused energy with no crash. At night, it lowers cortisol levels. That'll aid in recovery and helps you get that restful night's sleep as well. 213 Flashpoint is available at Supplement Superstores. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
KMOX KECK HD2 St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis. This is KMOX, always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. At the Democratic National Convention on this final night, Vice President Kamala Harris is set to formally accept the nomination for president, the first woman of color to be nominated by a major party. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren tells delegates,
Kamala Harris can't be bought, and she can't be bossed around.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
She's set to focus on her family's immigrant story. Her mother's from India, her father from Jamaica, and promote her middle-class upbringing in California's Bay Area, where she'd become district attorney and then attorney general. California Senator LaFonza Butler has known Harris for almost 15 years and says the convention's focus on joy is on purpose.
She never backs away from a hard choice, but she always chooses to do it together with others, and that's what brings her joy.
Harris's speech is expected to take on tough issues like immigration and possibly Israel's war with Hamas.
GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump is in Arizona while running mate Ohio Senator J.D. Vance stopped in Valdosta, Georgia. He says the Trump-Vance ticket will keep drugs off the street and the border secure.
Our message to illegal aliens who've come into this country by breaking our laws is yes. If you came into this country illegally, Donald Trump and I are going to work to send you home because that's what is required.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says some changes could be coming if Vice President Harris wins the presidential race and Democrats hold on to their majority in the Senate.
Senator Schumer says he might start with changing the filibuster. Previous attempts to do so were nixed by Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, both of whom are retiring. So if Democrats maintain the majority, the filibuster could likewise be retired. The result would be just a simple majority to pass legislation in the Senate, no longer the 60-vote threshold required under the filibuster rules. Senator Schumer says busting the filibuster would allow a Democratic majority to pass 2 voting rights bills first, and then, he says, a bill to codify abortion rights in federal law. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
The Canadian government moves quickly to end an unprecedented rail stoppage. Labor Minister Stephen McKinnon has ordered the country's 2 top railroads to enter binding arbitration after they failed to reach a contract with the Teamsters.
We wanted to give these negotiations the absolute possibility of concluding successfully. We see little prospect of that.
A second ex-Memphis officer accused in the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols during a traffic stop is changing his plea. Emmett Martin and 4 other officers were indicted last September on federal charges. They're also charged in state court with second-degree murder. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At 7:03, we have clouds, 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Kina. Our top story this hour.
Early this morning, officers from the Alton Police Department engaged in gunfire with a suspect in the 700 block of East 6th Street here in Alton, Illinois.
Alton Mayor David Goins providing what few details he can into a shooting which left a police canine and the suspect dead. That canine, Odin, had joined the Alton Department in February and graduated from the academy in May. His handler was injured in the shooting, but Mayor Goins says the officer has since been released from the hospital and is now recovering at home. The unnamed suspect who was shot was transported to the hospital and then later died from his injuries. In a statement, Police Chief Jared Ford said, Odin sacrificed his life in order to save the lives of his fellow officers, and they were incredibly saddened by his death. Meanwhile, Madison County State's Attorney Tom Haynes says in a statement on the officer-involved shooting, it reads in part, "Officer down are the two worst words you can hear. But in this case, we are all immensely grateful that this officer somehow avoided serious injury. We are also very saddened at the passing of his canine partner, Odin. These canine units are a true team, and this loss will be a tough one. We pray for the injured officers' continued health and the health and safety of all of our local law enforcement." After a dramatic day in court yesterday, Marcellus Williams returned for what was supposed to be his resentencing today.
However, that was not the case. After the Missouri Supreme Court ordered the evidentiary hearing must take place, the judge scheduled that hearing for next Wednesday, the 28th. What evidence will be presented is unclear after it was learned the murder weapon, originally believed to be the key to Williams' defense, was mishandled and DNA evidence had been added and removed years ago. For the time being, Marcellus Williams remains on death row and his consent agreement is on hold pending this upcoming hearing. Williams was found guilty of killing a Post-Dispatch reporter in 1998. The victim's family is asking Williams not be executed, according to a spokesperson for the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Well, the delay in the Williams trial brings him another week closer to his execution, which is scheduled for September 24th. We caught up with Governor Mike Parson and asked him if he would stay that execution. Parson would not commit.
I mean, there is a process to go through, and there's been a process out there for many years to go through, and we'll see how that process works out. But we will continue on the same timeline we have with every other one.
Williams had his execution stayed in 2016, but that was by then Governor Eric Greitens. Williams was found guilty for the 1998 murder of a Post-Dispatch reporter. At 7:05, let's get another check of the forecast with Dave Murray.
More delightful weather for any evening plans after a very cool start this morning. Most dropped into the mid-50s across the St. Louis area, but partly cloudy skies with us tonight. Temperatures will be in the 70s for evening plans. 61 for the overnight low, not quite as cool. Friday, plenty of sunshine. The morning's fine, but it's going to get a little bit warmer Friday afternoon. Nothing extreme, 90 for the high. So mainly in the 80s, maybe just barely touching 90 degrees. Friday night, lots of clouds, 73. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, marginally hot, 92 degrees. Saturday night, clouds and 73. Sunday, partly sunny. Though I'm going to keep a chance of a spot morning shower on Sunday, 95 degrees. And even hotter for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week with temperatures primarily in the upper 90s. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
So we enjoy it while we can. Right now it's 69 degrees in St. Peter, 76 in Florissant, and 76 downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Kina, KMOX News.
From KMOX Sports. Okay, boys, here we go. Welcome to the Graybar Sports Open Line.
Low spin swings, and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Here we go. Now, Matt Pauley on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
All right, man, let's get going here. Here we go. Let's go. Back at it as we get into hour number 2. It is a Graybar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. This hour, we are going to talk with Tamar Scher. We're going to do that in about 10, 15 minutes or so. Around 7:30, 7:35, we'll give you an opportunity to share your thoughts or give me your questions on the Cardinals. You'll be able to do that in multiple ways, including sending text messages or giving us a call at 314-436-7900, tweeting at me at Matt Pauley on air. But our new fun thing is if you are using the Odyssey app, you can press the microphone button and you can leave a voice message for us. And we will play some of those voice messages again coming up just after the bottom of the hour. So hopefully you do that. Cardinals win today. What a weird week. What a really weird week for the Cardinals and all the things that happened. You think about them coming off that series against the Reds. They got swept in 3 mostly non-competitive games, and that kind of felt like the low moment of the year. You're thinking going into that Dodgers series, okay, this is an opportunity for them to maybe make some roster changes or something. They don't. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, albeit very competitive games that they lose. They lose 2 one-run games against the Dodgers. So that series could have easily swung a different direction. If it's the middle of the season and not the end of the season, I don't think anybody's going to be upset about how they play that series against the Dodgers. It's just the fact that they're at a point right now where they can't afford any losses. Any potential win can't be a potential win. It has to be an actual win. So that series ends. And then they go into the Brewers series and they do make changes. They make the decision to send down Jordan Walker after the 11 at-bats or 12 at-bats, whatever it was. They make the decision to give an outright release to Brandon Crawford, who'd been a good veteran on this club. They bring Matt Carpenter back off the injured list, and they bring Luken Baker in as a guy who can bring a little bit of right-handed thump into the situation. You lose that first game against the Brewers. Nolan Gorman again had a tough at bat to finish that off, had a tough day. And they finally say enough is enough on Nolan Gorman. And they send him to AAA to try to fix his swing. And they bring Jose Fermin back. It has just been, there's been a lot that has happened and a lot to unpack. And I think the most 2 interesting things in all of this is how the team is dealing with Jordan Walker and how the team is dealing with Nolan Gorman. And what makes these 2 things the most interesting things about this is those of every name that I just mentioned, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but of all the names that I just mentioned, Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker are the 2 most important names in that group when it comes to the Cardinals' future. They got to find a way to get Nolan Gorman right. He is a guy who can play second base and hit 30 home runs. That doesn't really exist. You gotta find a way to get that going. They don't have enough power, and Nolan Gorman has a ton of power. He just has to make contact with the baseball, and he was having a really hard time with that. And then you feel bad for Jordan Walker that he got such a short stint with the team because he was finally performing at a pretty high level at Memphis. And he gets plucked out of Memphis and barely gets an opportunity, doesn't play in 2 of the 6 games that he's there, only starts 3 of them. They decide they're going to use him as a platoon type guy, even despite the fact that some of his career numbers, when you look at it lefty-righty, he's got some reverse splits when it comes to that. But it just felt weird. It felt odd. And then I don't think there was a disconnect between John Mozeliak and Oliver Marmol on all of this. I think it was just I think the plan was always that you bring Walker up when you're going to face some lefties over a few days span. And if he doesn't do anything impressive, you got the chance to return him. No big deal. But it is very clear that John Mozeliak did not want to have Jordan Walker sitting on the bench at the major league level for an extended amount of time. And that goes along with his track record. You go look at every decision that he has made when it comes to young players. It is very clear that one of his philosophies, one of his core beliefs is that young players should not just be sitting on the bench. It is better for them to be getting everyday playing time, every day at bats at AAA. So they eventually returned Jordan Walker. So I think the reason some people felt like that there was a disconnect between Oliver Marmol and John Mozeliak was when Walker showed up, the role that he was going to be in as a platoon guy doesn't really fit the idea of John Mozeliak's baseball philosophy when it comes to young players. So yes, it feels like in that moment that there is a conflict in functional beliefs. My thought process here is that every game matters so much right now for this team, especially it does right now. But I mean, the team was in such a tough spot at that moment that they were willing to try just about anything to get a spark, to try to steal a win here or there, like do any of those things. And if it meant stepping away from your philosophy on young players need to be playing every day for a 6-game period, so be it. And it was never going to be a long-term thing. At some point, Walker was either going to perform to a level where he was back as an everyday player with the Cardinals, or he was back with Memphis as an everyday guy. So but I understand, like, if you're just watching what went on and you hear Oliver Marmol talk about the fact that Jordan Walker is going to be a platoon guy, and then you hear John Mozeliak talk about the fact that he doesn't want Walker sitting on the bench. It absolutely does feel like there is a conflict and there is a disagreement there. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Mo and Ali are completely on the same page on absolutely everything or even on this thing. But I do think I would contend that got a little bit overblown and it was not the situation that some people are making it out to be. But then so Walker's back down. When Walker came up, part of the reason that they wanted him was because they wanted a guy with the right-handed bat who could also play the outfield. That was the thing when comparing him against Luke and Baker. But it wasn't. Walker kind of looked the same, just in the sense that he wasn't making a lot of contact. He wasn't driving the ball. He wasn't lifting in the air. And you had to give an opportunity at some point to Luke and Baker. You got a guy who's hit 30 home runs at AAA each of the last 2 seasons. And can go out there and just mash against lefties, an area where the Cardinals are not especially good at. You have to take advantage of that. And that's what they've been able to do. And we saw Baker hit the home run yesterday, which was one of the cooler moments. The 2 really cool moments yesterday. The Arenado grand slam, but that Baker home run, that was a really cool moment as well. The Gorman thing, this is not an organization that right now has the reputation for fixing players and making players the best version of themselves. And whenever I say stuff like that, there's always the cynics that come out and say, well, they don't make anybody better. That's not true. That's not true. There are players that they have made better. There are players that they've had success with. There are still good baseball people in this organization. But I also think it's true that no, they are not the best organization. They are not the organization that has the track record right now of making players the best version of themselves and being able to fix players. And that is the challenge of this team right now, because when it comes to Walker and when it comes to Gorman, these 2 guys are too important. If you want to be successful in Major League Baseball, especially with the type of payroll that the Cardinals are going to carry. And that's not a shot at their payroll. I have no problem with the amount of money that they spend. That doesn't mean they can't go spend more, but I've never thought payroll is the issue with the Cardinals. I've always thought how you spend that money and how you develop players and how you draft players and the select players, and those are the issues. It's not there's teams that spend less money than the Cardinals that have had more success. So I'm not taking an issue with the Cardinals spending. But they need young, controllable players to get to their potential. And Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker have to be 2 middle-of-the-order run producers. And this year has been a step back for each of those guys. And I don't know I really don't think we're going to see Jordan Walker again this year. When John Mozeliak spoke this past week, he spoke a lot about what they want him to do in the offseason. So to me, that feels like they're already looking next year. I don't know if something happens with Gorman. Jose Fermin might have something to say about that, and he got the double yesterday, and good for him. But it has just been a really, really interesting, unique week for the Cardinals, where it was busy. It was a lot of stuff happened on an everyday basis. We'll talk about some more of those things with Tamar Scher. She is going to join us in just a moment or so on a Graybar Sports Open Line here on KMOX.
Hey, folks, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house on the walls, patios, walkways, porch, or chimneys? If so, this might be a great time to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. What's tuck pointing? It's the removal of old mortar and the replacement of new mortar on a wall or chimney. Sometimes that mortar can become loose, missing, or deeply eroded. We've used the Morelli team to tuck point the Brennan home several times, and in fact, this winter, we noticed the bricks that line the ground near our porch in the backyard had gotten out of line and looked pretty cattywampus. One call, Morelli tuck pointing, the job was done. Morelli's the company that's won the Angie's List Super Service Award every year, back to back to back since 2005. Check out their reviews on the Google, Angie's List, and Better Business Bureau websites. The Masonry Specialists, 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Fantasy freaks and geeks. What's cracking? It's your boy James Coe, back with my brand new project, the Sleeper King Football Podcast. Look, I get it, okay? There's a lot of fantasy pods out there, but we're going to keep this one light, 15 to 20 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. And man, we are going to pack it with all the info you need, season long, weekly projections, and of course, sleepers. Follow and listen to the Sleeper King Football Podcast on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9-MILLION.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit ConsumerCellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
For eligible individuals 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Continuing on here on a Thursday night, Cardinals baseball earlier today. They knocked off the Brewers, taking 2 of 3 tomorrow. They are going to open up a weekend series in Minnesota against the Twins. 7:10 first pitch tomorrow. Our coverage will begin at 6:15. We go to the guest line, bring in one of our favorite people in the world. You see her on Channel 4 KMOE. She is a sports anchor and reporter. Her name is Tamar Scher. You follow her on Twitter at Tamar_SHER. Tamar, always good to talk to you. How are you?
I say the same thing about you, Matt Pauley. You're one of my favorite people in the world. So thanks for that intro. I'm great. Just happy to be talking about a Cardinals winner. I love it. I love the win against the Brewers, a series win at that. So it should be a little bit more of a happy day today for us.
It is, and I thought yesterday's win was so special with the Nolan Arenado Grand Slam, but in many ways, for that win to really matter, they had to follow that up with a win today. So yesterday wasn't just something that happened in a series loss. So today was huge, I thought.
And this is what speaks volumes. Nolan Arenado hits a walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning, and yet still, of course, he had the emotions. He's happy because quite frankly, he needed that in the literal worst way after the season he's having. And all he wanted to say post-game is that he just wants the consistency. He's craving it, as happy as he was for the team to provide that spark. He said, I don't want to think about it being a spark. I just want us to keep doing this and keep going. Well, look at what happened today. Victor Scott II able to go off and have himself a day, get his career high 3 hits, and be able to thrive. And he credits, hey, I got that spark from my leader in the clubhouse, Nolan Arenado, that pushed us into that. But now let's continue to see this roll on and get more of a consistent vibe now that they know they have the confidence that they can beat the division leaders in the Milwaukee Brewers.
You know, it's interesting, and you took a screenshot of something that he put on Instagram and tweeted it out earlier today. He put out on Instagram a photo of him and Lars Nootbaar at a table eating with Pedro Pages and Mason Wynn, and I believe that photo was from last night. I'll tell you what, tomorrow I get phone calls and text messages all the time with people not thinking that Nolan Arenado is a leader and not thinking that he's good for young players and that he's all about himself and stuff about his body language. I think that photo that you tweeted out that he had put on Instagram says a lot about what he does when it comes to younger players.
That's exactly why I shared it, Matt, because as soon as I saw that on Instagram, I go, that's the guy you want in your clubhouse. Sure, yeah, him and Goldie both have not had the years that they want to have. They are frustrated, and they can be the first to tell you they're the most frustrated of anyone that they can't come through. And yet still, Nolan Arenado celebrates by being with his teammates and sharing a meal and posting it out. And that's what he wants people to see. He's not doing that for the clicks or likes. He's doing it because this is what he's doing after a walk-off grand slam, is he is helping and just being friends with that younger generation of talent to say, this is the Cardinal way. This is the Cardinal way. We are tight-knit, and we are this group that we come to the clubhouse every day rooting each other on. And to be quite honest, I get that vibe when I go in the clubhouse. And you and I are both there together, Matt, and I see these guys hanging out and feeling comfortable with one another. And that's what you want at the end of the day. Yeah, the numbers need to be there as well, but how does this team interact behind closed doors? Nolan Arenado put that out for the world to see.
Mike Claiborne and I will talk about this on occasion, how it feels like something that's lost in baseball is just the people sticking around the clubhouse and having a meal together and just talking baseball. And it feels like, not to sound like, an old guy here, but sometimes it feels like as technology becomes a bigger part of people's lives, they just want to get back to their phones and get out the door. So I would think for Cardinals fans, it should be refreshing that they know that last night was a late night and today was an early day back at the ballpark, but there were a bunch of guys sitting around the table eating dinner and talking baseball.
Right. And here's the thing, too, that you can't lose sight of. Their post-game interviews, their pre-game interviews, they're not satisfied. Yeah, they had a walk-off winner. That's exciting. That's great. It was a grand slam, no less. But the fact of the matter is they still are having these conversations of what are we going to do to get better? We are not satisfied. Okay, yeah, we string 2 wins together, but it's about pushing forward and continuing this because, as Alec Burleson said today, you have to win close to all of the next few games in order to be kept in the conversation. So that's more of what it's about too, is yeah, sure, we find those happy moments and we find those personal moments that we enjoy as baseball fans to see, but it's about what they do with that and how they channel that. And I'm not getting a vibe that, oh, yep, we won a game, we're satisfied. No, it's about continuing that consistency.
They're 4.5 back right now in the wild card. We're talking with Tamar Scher from Channel 4. They'll either be 4 or 5 back, depending on what happens with Braves Phillies tonight. Braves have a 2-1 lead midway through the 5th, so Cardinals fans should be Phillies fans. But in addition to catching the Braves, they got to jump over the Giants. They got to jump over the Mets. It's not insurmountable, but tomorrow it's going to take a lot of winning over the next few weeks if they want to find themselves legitimately back in this race.
Whew, and I'm looking at the schedule, Matt. It is not easy. They know it's not easy. You got the Twins, the Padres, the Yankees. Again, you get the Brewers. That's away on the road, though. So they know that it is a tough stretch of games, but, Matt, they just beat the Milwaukee Brewers in a home series. And you got to think that that is such an exciting spark to say, hey, we can beat the division leader. Stop. Don't stop now. Don't stop now. Continue to push forward. and know that you can't be intimidated by the tough stretch ahead. But yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch. They know that. I think they've admitted that. But it's how can the roster that's set right now, how can this lineup every day come in and out wanting to be the best versions of themselves, stringing together good at bats? I know they said, yeah, this is a great shutout win. It's their 7th of the season. Still, they didn't get those runs until the 7th inning and waited. Alex saying they want to have that production earlier. So there are still hurdles and ways to go, but every day I'm seeing different positives we can take away from how they can, if they can string along wins at the end of the season, how they could put themselves in a better position.
Let's get into the big news that you guys at KMOV announced today. You're launching another channel. It's called Matrix Midwest. It's a sports and entertainment network. It's available on over-the-air television in addition to select cable systems. You've already announced a show that you guys are going to be doing for Mizzou football with pre- and post-game coverage. You, along with Brian and Jacob, the sports team, are going to be joined by Justin Gage. I know there's other things that are going to be potentially happening down the line, but this is quite the undertaking, and this is going to be really good for sports fans in St. Louis and really across Missouri.
Yes, sir. Well, it is actually the only free and independent sports and entertainment network. So that's something we're proud to be able to say. And like you mentioned, Mizzou Live, it'll be pre and post games for every single Mizzou game this season. So I'll be traveling. Brian, Jacob will both be traveling as well. And we'll be with the team getting exclusive one-on-ones with Eli Drinkwitz, head coach of the Tigers. We'll be getting one-on-ones with all the players who make up this incredible team. It's going to be a season unlike any other. Mizzou Tigers are hot this year. We are so excited to be their partners here in St. Louis, and it'll be broadcast actually throughout major cities in Missouri. So it's not just the St. Louis market that gets this access and gets these great pre and post game shows. So we also have Good Morning Football Overtime that'll be on Matrix Midwest. So a lot of good sports content for the St. Louis viewers and beyond in all Missouri.
It feels like right now we're in a kind of at a flux point when it comes to sports on TV and just wherever this industry is going to end up going. And it's a really good time for you guys to be starting this. And I'm excited to see everything that's going to come of this moving forward.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled. You say free, you say sports, and I'm just going to tell you that makes me very happy. So I love this, and I can't wait to have that Mizzou partnership to be able to launch it in a big way. And we also have that Chiefs preseason game going on right now in Matrix Midwest, so it is fully functioning. Matt, I appreciate you for giving us a little shout out.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks should remember now, if you've got Spectrum Charter cable, you can get it on there. But if you don't, or maybe you're one of those cord cutters, all you got to do is plug one of those antennas back into the back of your TV, and this thing's going to come in on channel 32.
You're right. Get that antenna up, and you can get free sports television, Matrix Midwest.
This is my little secret that I tell people. If you have cable, they compress the picture on just cable channels. So whenever I am watching games that are on network TV, I switch off of my cable and I instead go to my antenna because the picture is that much better on the antenna.
You're speaking exactly like the people in this building. I'm in the KMOV building right now, and that's exactly what we say. It's actually better for your viewership to be able to work off an antenna, and people are confused of how that works. Well, it's an easy Google search and look it up online, and then it's a good bang for your buck because you'll be able to get a lot of great stations, including Matrix Midwest, but you have that access, and it's a high definition television. She is Tamar Scher. You see her on Channel 4. Now you see her on Matrix Midwest as well. Follow her on Twitter at Tamar_Scher, SHER. Tamar, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to everybody in your building for putting together the channel and already getting this Mizzou show and everything that's to come in the future. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, very good. That's Tamar Scher joining us here on the program. We'll take a break, and when we come back, it's your opportunity to chime in about the Cardinals. So this is where we'll open up the phones, we'll open up the text line, we'll open up the Twitter machine, and we'll open up the voice messages. So here's how you can get in contact with us. If you want to call, the number is 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's also how you text in 314-436-7900.
888-866-9900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, or our new thing, if you are listening on the Odyssey app, click the microphone button and you can leave a voice message and we will play those back. So try that out. Just have a little bit of fun. We're all trying this out for the first time. Leave me a voice message on the Odyssey app by pressing the microphone button, and we'll play some of those coming up in just a moment here on a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish and just kind of blah. Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites. But I suppose they taste blah. Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go. Toss one in my bag? Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
Whether you're looking to fill low spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25-RHINO.com.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitamin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitamin.com.
You cheer for your favorite team. Wear the colors proudly and show everyone why we have the best fans in baseball. Now, KMOX and Rawlings are celebrating you, the loyal fan. You could win tickets to an upcoming game and $100 from Rawlings. Get entered now at KMOX.com/contest. Just upload a photo of you decked out in your game day attire.
I'm the best fan.
I'm the best fan.
The best fans in baseball. Presented by KMOX and Rawlings. The mark of a pro.
Home values are sky high and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked, so if you're thinking about selling, it's time, except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Labor Day signals that fall is fast approaching. Apple picking, fall leaves, and chilly nights are on the horizon. With Legacy Box, you can cozy up and watch something special this fall. Your family's home movies. Legacy Box is the simple, safe, all-inclusive solution for preserving your family's memories trapped on videotapes, film, even photos. After 10 years in business, Legacy Box is the world's largest digitizer. They've helped over 1 million families relive their wedding days, babies' first steps, and family road trips. Just fill Legacy Box with your VHS tapes, film reels, or pictures. Legacy Box digitizes it all by hand right here in the USA, and then sends it back on a thumb drive or the cloud. Future-proof your recorded moments today so you can gather the family and begin the trip down memory lane. Plus, for a limited time, they're offering 55% off. Go to legacybox.com/value to get 55% off. That's legacybox.com/value.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Have you for about 20 more minutes. We'll take you till 8 o'clock this evening. Starting at 8 o'clock, we will have coverage from Chicago and the Democratic National Convention as Kamala Harris is going to accept the Democratic nomination for president this evening. So that's all going to get started at 8 o'clock. But we got about 20 more minutes left here on this program. If you want to join in, you can do so by calling, texting, tweeting, or leaving a voice message. Call or text 314-436-7900. Tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air. And we've got the voice messaging option now available for you on the Odyssey app. So this is super easy. All you got to do is press the microphone button, record yourself, and it comes right to our studio. Let's start with those. So again, on days where the Cardinals play weekday day games, we don't do the full extended extra inning show. Always try to give you the opportunity to be able to chime in like it's after the game on the post-game show. So that's what we're doing right now. Let's hear our first message from Neil.
Hey, it is great to see the boys put two in a row together. I think going forward, what's most important for them is to continue to believe that they can do it, because we do have the talent on this team. We just have to extract that talent and maximize and take advantage. I like the idea of perhaps imposing our will upon the other teams a little bit by running the bases in key situations.
All right, Neil, appreciate the voice message. And I think something that happened today that if some version of it continues on would allow them to be more active on the bases is what we saw from Victor Scott II, where he goes 3 for 4 and he does have a stolen base. He's got to find a way to get on. He, there are some players that it is important when they come up to the plate that they have the opportunity to hit a double or hit the ball over the wall. That's all great with Victor Scott, but more important than anything else is just get on base. However you need to do it, get on base and start running around a little bit, and I think it will impact things from a positive way. So that was really good today to see Victor Scott go 3 for 4. Again, 2 games doesn't make a season. There's still so much more work to do, but it's nice to kind of have a positive vibe about this team after they were in a tough spot for a while. Let's grab our next voice message. Andy came in via the Odyssey app.
What the Cardinals did the last 2 days is great, but I can't get on board with getting excited about a playoff race unless they go on about a 10-game winning streak.
All right, Andy, certainly appreciate that thought. I don't think they need a 10-game winning streak, but what I do think is they need to, if they can consistently win series and get a sweep every once in a while, if you're winning 2 out of 3, and then can steal a sweep, if you're playing between 600 and 700 baseball between now and the rest of the season, and by the way, that is incredibly challenging to do so. Like I say that, like it's just something that they can easily do. And to put that in perspective, the best team in baseball from a record standpoint is the Los Angeles Dodgers, and their winning percentage is .594. So what I am asking for is for them to essentially for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, for them to play at a level that matches what the best team in baseball from a record standpoint has done all season long. If they can win 6 out of every 10 from here to the end of the season, they're going to be right there. They are going to be right there. But if they fall off at all, the last thing you want, the last thing you can afford at this point is one of those days where you lose and all the other teams that you're chasing win. A day where you lose and the Giants and the Mets and the Braves all win. It feels like one more day like that, and it just looks so incredibly daunting. Even tonight. So Cardinals entered action today, 5 games out of a wild card spot, right? And they've got 3 teams they got to jump over, the Giants, the Mets, and the Braves, to get into that final wild card spot. Like, on a surface level, that doesn't seem impossible. Doesn't sound easy, but it doesn't seem impossible. So they came in today 5 back. They win this game today. It feels great that they won the game. They won the series. Like, vibes are good right now. But if the Braves beat the Phillies and right now Atlanta has a 3-1 lead in the 7th, you're still 5 back, and it's another day where you didn't really gain ground. So look, they're not going to win every game from here to the end of the season. So on the days that you lose games, you just have to be really, really hopeful that a bunch of these other teams that you're chasing don't all win on those same days. All the while, you are playing an incredibly challenging schedule. Now, I've been somewhat dismissive of the schedule just because I've watched this team all year long, and it almost feels like it doesn't matter who they're playing because they beat the good teams and they lose to the not so good teams. But playing this many good teams day after day after day after day to be in this type of stretch, it's going to be a challenge. It is going to be a challenge for sure. Maybe a little bit of a respite with the Twins this weekend. The Twins, they're a good team, and they're certainly a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. They are in the 2nd wild card position right now when it comes to the American League. But you've got some other really, really challenging teams that are going to be on the schedule moving forward after that. You're going to see the Padres, who are playing some of the best baseball in the National League. You're going to go to New York to take on the Yankees. You've got another series against Milwaukee, this time in Milwaukee. So a really, really tough schedule. And you got to win as many of the games kind of early right now because you don't want to be worn down by what you're facing off against. Let's grab Frederick, who has given us a call. Hey, Frederick, you're on Sports Open Line.
Yes. My question is, do you think the Cardinals will bring up Jordan Walker again and let him play in Chandler Redmond?
No, I appreciate the phone call. I don't think that they're going to bring Jordan Walker up again. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I think they are at a point right now with Jordan Walker where they are going to let him finish out the year at AAA, and they are going to work with him in the offseason to try to help him put his offense in a better spot. Something that didn't grab a lot of attention. So John Mozeliak spoke to like the large group of media this past week in a press conference that took place in the Cardinals dugout. But when he got done with that, he did a one-on-one conversation with Mike Claiborne that aired that day on the Cardinals pregame show here on KMOX and across the Cardinals radio network. And something that Mo said to Claibs that I don't think he said in the big group scrum was they are going to offer once again to Jordan Walker for him to spend the offseason in Jupiter and work with Cardinals coaches on an everyday basis. So what they did was they basically did that this past offseason, but the focus was defense. The focus was so much on making him a better defensive outfielder. And you know what? It worked. It worked. Like he was not good last year. He got better, but he was not good. And he came into the year this year probably a slightly above average defensive outfielder, which, while that might not sound great, when you look at what the starting point was, that was pretty darn fantastic. So the work worked that he put in during the offseason in Jupiter. All these players have their own hitting coaches and places that they go to, and some of it's really good. Like we've talked with the folks from Driveline on this show, and I love what Driveline does. And Nolan Arenado's gone there, and Lars Nootbaar's gone there, and Paul Goldschmidt's has gone there. I'm trying to think of other players who've gone. They've got a lot of major league guys who go in there, and they do really good work. But there are some players who are still going back and working with some high school coach, and there are some high school coaches out there that are fantastic hitting coaches and could be doing it at a higher level, but they like what they're at. But there's also some high school coaches that are just that. They're kind of high school baseball coaches, and they work on the same type of stuff that they would work on with a high school kid that maybe doesn't apply as much because in high school baseball, you can hit it on the ground over and over and over again. And if you hit it hard, there's a pretty good chance it's getting through. And the fielding on the infield isn't very good. So while that can work at lower levels, you want to drive the ball and lift the ball, certainly. And so the point I'm trying to get to is so many of these players have their own kind of gurus or their own guys that they work with in the offseason. And some of them are fantastic and some of them are not. And I know Walker's got some people. I don't know anything about the people that he really works with, how good they are, how much they might not be good. Like, I don't know anything. This is not an indictment on his decision of who he works with when it comes to hitting. But when John Mozeliak says to Mike Claiborne, we are going to offer to Jordan Walker to spend the offseason again in Jupiter and work with our guys, well, what that tells me is that's something he should probably take him up on, because they've got some very specific things that they want him to fix so he can lift the ball and so he can drive the ball. And working with Cardinals instructors is probably the way to go, because at that point they know what he's working on. And again, I think, look, I'm as critical as maybe not as critical as anybody, but I can be critical of the Cardinals when talking about them not doing a fantastic job in developing players and things like that. Their track record is not fantastic right now, but I also give credit where credit is due. And as Mo alluded to, you look at the work that Walker put in this past offseason with Cardinals coaches in becoming a better defensive player, and it absolutely worked. So hopefully, when you're trying to change your swing in the middle of the season, that is as challenging of a thing as exists in this world, because you're going at 3:00 in the afternoon and you're going into the cage and you're working against a machine or you're taking flips, and you know exactly what you're supposed to do to tweak your swing, to change your swing. And then all of a sudden it's 7:00 at night. The lights are on. You have live pitching. You want to be competitive. You've got muscle memory going, and you just kind of revert back. Being able to implement what you work on at 3:00 in the afternoon at 7:00 at night is one of the most challenging things in the game of baseball. So for Jordan Walker to take this offseason and just work on his hitting when there's nothing to do at 7:00 at night, I think that would be a very, very good thing for him. One more break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this edition of the program. It's Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Oops. Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill.
La 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 la.
Navien tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
I see clearly now, thanks to the doctors, Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Barry. You can too. Go to youridoc.com.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Your air conditioning system has been getting a real workout this summer. If it needs a little help, you can count on Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling. Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling at 314-968-9900 with 24-hour service nights and weekends for any emergencies and repairs. They do give free estimates as well if you need a whole new system. Right now, they're offering no interest for 5 years on new Lennox air conditioners, and that comes with a 10-year parts and condenser warranty. 314-968-9900 or online at comfortsolutionsstl.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-90000.
Let's face it, planning for retirement can be overwhelming and stressful. And things like record inflation, rising interest rates, the threat of a recession, and the possibility of Social Security disappearing all feel like roadblocks to reaching that retirement finish line. All of these issues can have a major impact on your life savings. So the question is, what are you doing about it? Join the All Financial Group August 22nd and the 27th at Cooper's Hawk for a presentation providing you with the tools, insight, and proven strategies that can help you overcome these retirement roadblocks. Seating is limited and you must qualify to attend. Call 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to Saxony Ridge in Wentzville, a sprawling new home community located off Point Prairie Road, west of Highway Z. Saxony Ridge offers custom new construction homes on 3+ acre home sites in the Francis Howell School District. This private and tranquil community offers spacious home sites surrounded by an abundance of beautiful woodlands and open space. Saxony Ridge homeowners will enjoy the close proximity to New Melly, featuring local restaurants, grocers, and numerous recreational opportunities. For more information, visit lombardohomes.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. JD Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Limited time. For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Starting to wrap up the program again when we get done here at 8 o'clock. So about 6 minutes from now, we are going to head to Chicago for CBS Radio News coverage of the Democratic National Convention. Tonight's the night where Kamala Harris will officially accept the nomination for president for the Democratic Party. So we will have DNC coverage beginning in about 5 minutes from now. So stay tuned for that coming up in just a few moments. This weekend, a big weekend for the Cardinals as they are going to match up against the Minnesota Twins. Man, it would be good if they could win 2 out of 3 in Minnesota against a tough team. But not that this actually matters on August 22nd, because I'm knock on wood. Hopefully, I don't know if there's rain in the forecast in Minneapolis or not. Anytime I see a game being played at Target Field, all I can think to myself is, how in the world did they build that ballpark and not put some sort of roof on it? And admittedly, I spent 6-7 years working in Milwaukee, where the Brewers do have a roof. And but when you're up, it's not even for this time of the, like, it's nice to avoid rainouts, but it's so cold there at the beginning of the season. That'd be the one. And maybe that's sacrilege to people in St. Louis, because I mean, I would never want the Cardinals to build a ballpark with a roof on it. I love the ballpark. I love the open air, but this is St. Louis. Baseball is very, it's got a very special place here. Like, I don't feel it's the same way in Minneapolis and in the Twin Cities. So that's my hot take, that the Twin, is that really or is it my cold take? That's my take, because every time I see a game being played at Target Field, as nice as that ballpark looks, all I can think to myself is, man, did they make us, because it's going to happen this year if they're in the playoffs, and they're in a playoff spot right now. They're going to have a snow out, or they're going to have a game that's just freezing cold. And you're thinking to yourself, man, they really, really should have put some sort of roof on the ballpark. 7:10 first pitch tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow is an Apple TV game. So if you don't have Apple TV, you got to listen. We'll talk to you tomorrow for Cardinals coverage, 6:15 here on KMOX.
Amy Mark Scores here. Imagine your home's windows and doors literally not working. The windows are drafty and leaking. Your patio door is sticking as you strain to open it. Well,